Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik from Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and today we're going to be talking about a brand new Sega Dreamcast game. But before we do that, if you guys could do me a favor, please like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you've never done that before, and check out the description. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, all that sort of stuff, as well as my new channel called Flying and Eating, which is about adventuring. You can see the world for free. You can go ahead and check that out. Thank you very much for the support. Now, on to this. So yes, for those who don't know, the Sega Dreamcast here, which this is a very heavily modified one, still gets new games every once in a while. However, those games are not produced by Sega or other major developers and publishers. They're done by independent developers and publishers who typically have completely different reasons for doing it. I've talked about that in the past, but one of the kings, if not the king of that now, is a guy, or well, a company called JoshProd, who's actually run by a guy named Phil. Phil's a man of very few words. Every time I approach him about it and I'm like, yo, what's the story? Like, how did this game come into existence? He's like, it just did. But anyway, so in this case, we have a new game called Rocketron, or Rocketron. And the only reason I'm questioning it, like, obviously I want to call this Rocketron. I mean, look at it. Rocketron. Seems obvious. Rocketron seems inherently funny. And I would never even have considered it, except I put the disc of this in a computer just to kind of see what other information I could get off the disc. And the name actually came up as Rocket, capital R-O-N, Rocketron. And I was like, typo? Or... because that implies, like, to me, suddenly it's a comedy. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. The game itself came from Video Games New York, who is their American publisher, so shout out to them. If you want to get this game, the American version in particular, get it through them. I'll put a link in the description. If you're in Europe, however, you can also get this game with a PAL-style case sold through Pixel Heart. I'll put a link there as well. Now, it's worth noting the game is completely region-free, as are all the independent Dreamcast releases, so it really doesn't matter which version you get. It ultimately boils down to which looks better on your shelf. This happens to be the North American / Japanese version, but again, that's purely cosmetic. But anyway, so this is the description of the game that Video Games New York supplied me with. Fly through the sky, rain down fire on enemy forces from above. Use your rocket musket and 8 different types of weapons to boost through the sky, charge enemies, and leap over pitfalls as you investigate a new mysterious enemy. Enjoy solid combat and simple non-linear exploration in this original shooter. Features: 20 stages over 6 areas. Customize and upgrade your weapons with in-game power-ups. 8 types of weapons, 3 different endings. Supports HDMI and VGA, is region-free. As I said, region-free. So thank you very much for the very concise description of events. Yeah, looking at the back, my first impression when I showed this in Playload at the end of the month was, it looks a lot like a Mega Man type of game, but it could be very different than that. I mean, I don't know. It's just first impressions based off screenshots. But yeah, no, the basic story with this, from what I've gathered from talking to Phil, was this game was originally made by Astroport, which is a developer he seems to like working with because he's ported over several of their games. In this case, you know, he approached him. He's like, I like your game. Let's put it on Dreamcast. And he just got the license and he just did it. That's how Phil rolls, man. If he likes a game, he's just like, that's good. I'm going to put money in that, and that's going to be on the Dreamcast. I wish we had more guys like that in this community, because that's insane. But like all the nice indie releases, this is not a CDR. This is actually pressed on a disc in a factory. Typically, those disc pressings are done in Germany, incidentally. It almost always is. There must be some rule over there that makes that a lot easier. I don't really know what it is. But yeah, so it's got this nice disc. Behind the disc is the same cover art that appears on the front of the game, and it also has, of course, a manual. Now, the manual is, in true JoshProd style, is reversible, so you have the Japanese artwork on one side, and then you flip it and you get the American artwork. Of course, you can open it up, and inside it just has ads for some of the other games, like Wolfflame and Sega ZS Next, or Sega Next. I'm pretty sure it's Sega ZS Next. Either way, I've done videos on both of them. It's got the basic control layout for the game, some credits, and then it's just got, you know, the Japanese version of the same thing, which includes games like Supercharged Robot Volkaiser, stay tuned for a video on that, and Armed 7, which I've also done a previous video on. But yeah, that's kind of it, as just a, you know, a quick look at it.
All right, we're rolling here with Rocketron, or Rocketron. I guess that's Ron right there. That's what he looks like. He looks oddly like Ant-Man. Pretty basic menu. You can either just start a new game or load your previous one, obviously implying saving. And then, of course, you have all sorts of difficulties. But because I suck, I'm going with easy mode. So I cut out a whole bunch of stuff there, not surprisingly. There's this cool little animated intro of all these like vehicles coming in, stuff exploding. And yeah, it's just kind of a run and gun type of game. If anybody ever played Gunlord on the Dreamcast, which was another indie release many years ago, like a decade ago now. It's very similar to that, and I'm sure there's many other games people would come to think of, but that tells you where my headspace is at, where I can only compare it to other indie Dreamcast games. But then anytime you see like little notifications, you get information about, you know, what to do. Here I was like trying to figure out like, how do you get up there? And then it's like, oh, you have to use your rocket function, you stupid idiot. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. But yeah, and then it's like, how does that work? How does that work? Do I check my inventory? Have I ever played a video game before? Oh, right, that's how it works. Gotcha. No, this game's pretty fun. It's a cool little, like, you know, just run and gun type of shooter if you like that type of thing. I would say, I think my original comparison to like a Mega Man, at least a Mega Man inspired type of game, would certainly, I think, be accurate. And it's overall pretty neat, you know, just run and gun and shoot and stuff. So basically, I think what I'm going to do at this point, you also collect these little power-ups and stuff. And yeah, I mean, you guys have played games like this, so it's a pretty cool one. I like the artwork and the design of it. But what I'm going to do here is kind of tune out and let you guys just kind of enjoy some of the gameplay as well as some of the music, and you guys can experience it for yourself. And in case I didn't mention it before, the way this is being played is via the Dreamcast, obviously, running through the DC Digital or DC HDMI. That way you get a nice, clear, solid picture out of it. But as mentioned before, it does work with things like all the VGA cables and stuff like that, which is one of the greatest things about the indie Dreamcast games. They always support those high-def solutions so that they always can look their best. So yeah, anyway, enjoy the music, and I'll catch up with you guys at the end. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. In case it isn't obvious, I cut out certain things like load times, and there's actually little save rooms that I cut out completely, but that way, that's how you save your progress. But yeah, you can see me fight this big boss dude here. If you guys like this, you can check it out. There's a link in the description to both Video Games New York and Pixel Heart. Again, thank you to Video Games New York for hooking me up. If you guys do me a favor, like this video, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't done that, follow me on all the social media stuff, and check out the new Flying and Eating channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.